Hey everybody, it's Gypsy and welcome to On the Edge of Appalachia. Today is Saturday morning, April 26, 2025, and I'm headed for the flea market to do some vending. For the first time, I have some halfway decent seedlings with me to sell, so we'll see how that goes. And as you can see, the weather's yucky. It is freezing cold out there, and I miss spring. I want spring back. 2 days ago, it was 85 degrees. Now, the high is in the 40s today, and I'm freezing cold. Yesterday, we had, oh my God, the rain in the morning and then in the evening. We got a break in the afternoon, and I dug a trench to plant potatoes. And then when it started raining in the evening, I went out to close up the greenhouses, and the yard was literally a lake. I mean, it was, thank God I had my vessies on. But the trench I dug, it looked like a canal. So anyways, it's been a very busy week. I've mostly gardening. Oh yes, and it's orange barrel season here in Northeast Ohio, our favorite. Anyways, yeah, so last weekend I had a very good conversation with a young woman who stepped into my booth, and she was admiring all of my handmade items and my paintings, and there were some things, I can't remember which they are. She has similar passions that I do, and I can't remember if it was crocheting or painting or what, but she loves to do it. I don't know, maybe she was in her 20s or 30s. I'm gonna wait for this guy. And she said to me, I love doing this, but I just don't have the time. Well, I kind of chuckled. I said, you know why? She goes, why? I said, because you're young. I said, I remember when I was your age, I didn't have the time to do all this stuff. Anything I loved, I didn't have the time to do. Except for being a mother, you know, but the way society is built. And I said, you know, once, you know, I'm not raising little ones anymore and stuff, I said, I have the time to do this. And, you know, she kind of nodded her head. I said, when you get older, you'll have the time. I said, but don't you think it's sad that we can't partake in our passions, you know, do our hobbies, our talents, whatever, all our lives? Why do we have to wait till we're old? And a lot of people don't make it to even 60, you know, the age I am, which is, you know, that happens. It happened to my dad. He died at 58. So I think that's really sad. But, you know, now we did not get to this point in the conversation, but she's really sweet young woman, and I really hope that she and all the young people don't have to wait until they're senior citizens if they're, you know, lucky enough to make it to that age. You know, it's like, it's a terrible way to live, and you should not have to wait, you know, 40, 50 years, 60 years to do the things you enjoy. Now, I believe, and I hope I am right on this. Oh, look at these. If you can see these beautiful horses here. Look, I love horses. I love animals, but I love horses. My grandpa taught me to ride when I was a little girl. I have not ridden a horse in about 40 years. I think the last time I rode a horse, I was in my 20s. Isn't that sad? Although now I don't think I could get up and down off a horse. Although somebody told me, well, you know, I was taught to mount from the left side. Somebody said, well, why don't you switch it and, you know, do it to the right? I said, well, both me and the horse would have to get used to that one. That would be difficult. But anyways, I got off topic here. Horses will distract me. Anyways. And I hope I'm right about this, that the workforce is changing. And, you know, although the pandemic was an awful thing, I think there were some silver linings to it. Now, a lot of people don't agree with me on this one. You know, especially like most of the people I know, because I lean more conservative. They don't agree with me on this. But seeing that during the pandemic, there are other ways to work besides what we have been doing for about a century now, at least. You know, rushing to work, leaving our home and our family, etc., especially leaving our children. I had a lot of, I guess I should say resentment, because it's not why I became a mother. I did not become a mother to leave my children in somebody else's hands most of the time while I go to work. First of all, they don't, you know, if it's outside your family, they don't raise them right. You know? So, it's like, and I wanted to be, I love being a mother, I love kids, and I wanted my kids. You know, so I have a lot. And that is a personal choice. But my choice was taken to me. Not taken to me. My choice was taken from me. So, you know, thank you, feminism. Because they say feminism is supposed to give women choices. Wrong. Takes the choices away from women. A woman, whatever she wants for her life, should be able to do that. And I did not get that opportunity. Why? Because of feminism. Anyways, but I think that the pandemic showed us that there are other ways to work. You know, whether it be working from home or whatever. And I also feel like after, you know, over the last several years, people are turning more towards small businesses, you know, family owned, or what they call mom and pop shops, or they used to, handmade items, all that kind of stuff. People are turning towards that. So I think there's a shift in the workplace. Now, I have told you before that I truly believe that we all, and even if you think you don't have a talent, let me tell you, you do. We are all born with different talents and abilities to contribute to the world, to contribute to humanity. We all are. You know, people underestimate themselves, they undersell themselves. But it's true. It is true. Now, I feel the way, you know, one, it is, I think when we have these talents and abilities and we actually involve ourselves in them, it raises our vibrational frequency, and, you know, we're happy, changes our mental and physical health, everything. Now, we all have these different talents and abilities because they're all needed here. Yes, even us visual artists. You hear about the starving artists. Well, let me tell you, I'm one of them. But we're needed too. When I see, whether they buy stuff or not, people come into my booth and look at my paintings, my sculptures, my crocheted items, and I see their face light up. It makes me happy. And that's the way I just contributed to their day. And also, I know how to work with plants and herbs for healing, etc. Okay? And I'm no professional. I love to do it, but there are those who know a lot more than I do about that. So, we need all these things. We need everything from rocket scientists, computer geeks, down to a plumber. Now, I don't want to say down. Down is not the right word. All the way over to a plumber. We need all. There is no hierarchy in jobs. They're all valuable. We need plumbers. Oh, I even think we need the pizza delivery guys sometimes, because I'll tell you, when I was in a wheelchair and couldn't get around, I was really loving those delivery people. They really saved my life, because when I didn't, you know, my family was not home, I would, you know, order and then wheel my chair over to the door to get my food. Okay? Everything we do not, and we do, we all have talents and abilities. I'm sorry. We do. And I cannot believe they tell us these lies to keep us down and under control. But things are changing. I truly believe that. And I've been thinking since I had this conversation with this young woman, because she was like, yeah, it would be nice if I could have the time to do this. I said, we all are supposed to be doing the jobs we were born to do. She goes, you mean instead of I have to get up every morning and go to the factory to earn a living? I said, yes. Your job, what you do to contribute to society, should be your passion. I really believe that. And I believe there was a time it was like that. Not sure when. But, yeah. It's sad that it got to that point. But every ability, even people with disabilities who you think can't do things, they actually are contributing to society. And they have talents and abilities that maybe aren't obvious to others, but they're there. They're there. Everybody contributes to not just this planet, but I think the universe. But yeah, I think it's changing. And I think probably within the next couple generations, I'm hoping sooner. I mean, I'm in my 60s, it's not like I'm gonna, take up another career. At least I don't think so. You never say never, because anything's possible. Anyways, I hope it changes sooner. I would love to see. Man, we've all had a hard time. But the younger generation, they particularly had a hard time. And I would like things to change for them. For them to be able, a rummage sale, I'm sorry. To be their true selves, be true to themselves. Be happy. Do what you were meant to do. And I think it is changing, but I just had to share this conversation. It was a very, very nice conversation I had with this young woman, very sweet young woman, and I hope her dreams come true. I hope everyone's does. I'm sorry. I'm in just one of those moods where I want to see so much change that everyone's happy. Here I go, being Pollyanna. Anyways, I'm going to leave you with that. Blessed be, and make it a joyful